Unit 1, Engineering, EDUCAS. By the end of this video, you will understand how to create your first 4 generation of ideas. Now these ideas are all going to be based on your selected existing product. So we've looked at our existing products from page 2. We have highlighted the key areas that have been requested in the brief and suggested in the task on the first page of the PowerPoint. We've highlighted all the key points, and then we've gone over and ticked. We've made a tick next to the selection which is the most important, that gives the most detail, or hits the most, ticks the most boxes for the criteria on the original brief. And on this occasion, we're pointing to this idea, which is an adapter for using a key to open a door. Now, the person in the picture potentially suffers from arthritis, so they can't squeeze the key in a normal situation, normal environment. So they have to use an adapter which will squeeze against the key, and then the elderly person perhaps, could then just put the hand around the key adapter in order to unlock the door. So what we're going to do now is come up with 4 different ideas based around someone with arthritis who can't quite grab the pin that comes with a mobile phone to take out the SIM card or the memory card. Obviously, if you suffer from arthritis, you perhaps wouldn't be able to squeeze your finger together like this to hold that pin key to remove the SIM card. So we have to make an adapter similar to the one with the holding the key that we just looked at. Here are some ideas that I came up with earlier. As you can see, you've got different views: front view, back view, side view. Now what we're going to do here is kind of replicate those ideas, and I want to show you how to get started. So if we start out by drawing an L shape, this L shape that we've just drawn, the first thing we're going to do on here is the front view of the design. So the front view is going to look like this. That could be where there could be a little socket type thing here for the pin. The pin could slot into like a bayonet fitting type, like off a lamp for a light socket. And then in here you could have a small gap for where somebody's hand could go through there. So all they would have to do is put the hand straight through that hole there, kind of like a bottle that joggers may use, so they can keep hold of it without the worry of it slipping out of their hands. So that would be the front view. I could label this now, front view. Then what I'm going to do is construction lines going across at every point and going up at every point, like so. Then over here I'll decide how wide that product will be. I will show the very front tip of this, the pin that goes inside of the SIM card. Then I'll do some extra construction lines here to show that square socket that we said is like a bayonet fitting, perhaps, that the pin can go into and come out of, so you could perhaps change it for various tools. Maybe it could be like a you could have a complete set of screwdriver attachments, torque bits for maintaining your mobile phones. And then here, you're not going to see this hole through the shape, but what you can do later on when we come to do the final design on the next page, we will look at doing dashed lines through sides to give the viewer the impression that there is something behind this solid face, this solid front face. So the top view here, if I draw a line across here, I'm going to draw the top view above this line. The top view is going to be the same width as the front view. So what we can do here is, if we just draw, I'll just continue these lines up, these construction lines, and if I just draw a 45-degree line from here, that's 45 degrees-ish, where this line meets there goes across, where this line meets goes across. Because I did 45 degrees, that would mean this gap is exactly the same as this gap. So I shouldn't have to measure this with a ruler. It just speeds up the production of the drawing. I can just, then all I need to do is decide what the top will look like. Like that. Show the pin on there, and front view, side view, top view. So what we do, we've labelled all the sides. I'm going to do another 3 designs on this page, and then I'm going to come back and start annotating. So I've done the second drawing here. I'll just label these number 1, number 2. What you'll notice, although I'm using the same pen, you can see the line weighting. It's called line weighting because the weight of the line is heavier and lighter for construction lines. Heavier for the actual lines of the shape, lighter for the construction lines. There will be when you come to do your extension lines and dimension lines, which we will look at in a little bit, you're going to use a different colour just to indicate that you know you're talking about the extension lines. So the next shape I'm going to do down here, we'll go through the steps again. So start off with an L shape, and then this is another shape, another design, just kind of making it up as I go along, but basing it on the original handheld key opener, and basing it on that design, but making up the shapes as we go. So coming out of here will just be that pin, so that people can put the hand inside there, and it just makes it a little bit easier. And where this has come out here, perhaps that could be a hole for a key ring, or it could be like a little thumb groove, so it could have some textured lines on there for extra grip. At the moment, because we're just doing the initial design stage, if there's anything on the design that you're not happy with, obviously you can make a note of that and then be prepared to make the amendments, modifications later on. The initial design stage, you will then go on to the development stage to make those extra modifications. Okay, so we've got this design here. Now, next thing we want to do, after we've indicated front view, continue the lines, the important lines, all the way across the page, like so. And just here, I have to think now how wide it's going to be. Make sure it's in proportion. So think about how small you've drawn this compared to how wide you're going to draw this. If you put your hand through that groove there, is it going to wrap around the thickness of the product, or will the hand go straight through this gap and just stay rigid like that? So from the front view, this product, you've got to think now, how will the front look? Will these parts here going to be fairly wide? I might bring it in a bit here like this. So the front view could look like a kind of glass hour, like an egg timer, like that. And then it could narrow right down this part here, and then that's pretty much how it would look. I suppose what you could do, might be a good time to show you how to do these dashed lines. So we said before that this could be a keyring hole, so because of the hole going right through that side, you would show it here on the front with dashed lines. So top view, going to look 45-degree line up there. Top view will go into this box here. Well, actually, I need to bring the lines up. Bring all the construction lines up. All the important lines. So from the point of that curve there, from the edge of the radius, from the edge of the radius, from the edge of that radius, and from the tip of the pin there, the pin key. And then we're going to decide what the top would look like. The top isn't going to look like a glass hour, or an hourglass I should say. Instead it's going to just come out to a point. And again, you can have your, just for a few extra marks, you can show that you know how to do these dashes and what they mean. So those dashes are pointing out and resembling the fact that there is a hole going right through there. So front view, side view, and then top view. After you've completed all 4 designs, you're going to have to label or annotate all of the key features for each design, not just for one design. So the key features would be things like the shape. Yes, we can see the shape, but you explain why the shape is like this in a few words. Why is the shape like that? Why does it do this? Why does it do that? The style, just indicate where the style has come from, why you've drawn it based on that shape. Is it to be similar to the mobile phone? Is it to be of interest to elderly people? Size, so every product should have measurements on there along with dimension lines, and we'll come to that in a second. Colour, and again we'll come to that in a second, but each product should have just a splash of colour. Make sure that's clear. Also label material, so what type of material is this part, what type of material is this. Maybe you've got some rubber for extra grip, perhaps these circles on the idea number 4, perhaps they are a rubber material for extra grip and extra comfort. Ergonomics, how comfortable is it to hold? Well, we can see this shape over here, idea number 2, has got small finger grooves there to make it easier for the user to hold on to. And the safety, is it safe? Is this sharp pin removable, retractable, or does it stay rigid like this and potentially stick into someone's skin, pierce someone's skin, in which case it's probably not that safe. Could you get, could that be a magnetic attachment there? Because obviously people with arthritis might struggle to attach the pin to the adapter. So if that was magnetic here, maybe it could just be a case of get the adapter out of the pouch and just press the adapter onto the desk. It will pick up the pin itself into the right position and therefore ready to use. So with the dimension lines, what we do is, first of all, we will draw, for the height of this side view, we're going to draw what's known as an extension line. The extension line comes out and away from the object. The extension lines go up to where you're measuring, but they don't actually touch. There is a gap here. There is a gap here. They don't touch. So this is the extension line, this is the dimension line, and then this here is the measurement, 75. There's a radius curve here, so you're going to write down a radius of 30 millimeter radius. Another radius here of 40. I've just made those up, but I'm sure you get the idea from the layout of how to do the how to label the radius for measurements. So the important measurements, there's going to be 3 important measurements for each drawing. So we want to know the height of the side view, the thickness over here, so we'll just make it 30, and we need to know the full length of the object as well. So the full length from back to the tip here is going to be, so we're going to have to bring the extension line, we'll bring it down here actually, bring it down here like that, and then we can draw dimension line through the center there. I'm going to write 120, do a little arrowhead there, so we know the dimension line is stopping at these extension lines here, 120. In case you're wondering, is that 120 millimeters or centimeters? Well, at the bottom of the paper here, we make a little note with an asterisk symbol there, all measurements in millimeters. Okay, so now for argument's sake, we'll say that we've talked about the shape, we've annotated notes about the shape for each of the 4 products, tick. We've annotated notes about the style, we've added dimension lines and radius measurements on all the drawings, tick. Colour, so with the colour I said earlier, we just need to add a splash of colour, and that's all we have to do. So just to tell the viewer that the front of this shape is blue, we just need to put a small splash of colour in a small area there with the blue. There's no corners on this shape, it's all the same colour, so you don't really have to do any more blue colouring anywhere else. You've just done it in one area, that's going to tell the viewer that the whole shape is blue. When we come to this drawing here, it might be that the top here is purple and maybe the rest of the shape is blue. So there you go, splash of blue. That will tell the viewer that this whole side is blue, or this is blue, and that's purple. Same with this one. I might choose to do the top here blue and then the rest of the body could be purple, and then this whole shape, because there's no corners and no edges on this shape, the whole thing is purple. And there you have it. So that's the colour done. You're going to write about materials. This is plastic, this is metal, this is rubber. Do some research on how plastic is manufactured. Think about some manufacturing processes like injection moulding or rotational moulding, blow moulding. Talk about ergonomics. So here, these three grooves, ergonomically designed. This has been ergonomically designed so that you can have a thumb grip here. Perhaps the palm of your hand can go into this little recess here. Okay, and then you're going to talk about safety. So talk about the safety, how safe they are. Is it safe? Is it not safe? Could it be improved? How could it be improved? So on and so forth. So this whole sheet, you will have an hour to complete this sheet, and make sure that you do some practicing first, and then in the lesson we're going to have one full lesson, 1 hour long, from start to finish. You will complete this sheet full of detail, full of annotations, full of nice orthographic freehand sketches. Okay, thank you.